Breakdowns.
Welcome back to the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast. Today this is a monumental episode. I don't know if the guests know that, but today is episode number, what, Bert?
50.
50! We made it to 50, and I'm happy to have here today, Set the People. Woo!
Hey.
There's a studio
What's up?
audience in
What
here.
up?
What's going on, guys? How are you?
We're doing good.
Good. Awesome.
Good to be here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you guys for coming on. You guys are definitely one of the bands. I say that a lot, and I was like, I really want to have you on. But the fun thing about this podcast is that I have complete control about who comes on, and I'm really excited to have you guys on. Since I first heard of you guys, and not even heard of you, saw you perform live, was the first time I was just in awe and seeing this is really fucking good. This is a really good band. It's a solid band.
Thank you.
I thought you guys had been around for a lot longer than you have been, but when did the band start initially?
We're newbies, kind of.
We are newbies. We officially, with the four members, all of us together, May 21 was when we got together.
That's insane.
Yes,
That's crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what when I started to look into you guys, I'm you kind of just got going, and to see the type of live performance that you guys have, along with the songs that you guys put out, it's a weird combination to see someone that good that early, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you. That's a great compliment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was talking to Logan the other day at the show, and it's one of those, your songs are some of those that I find myself just humming along and singing these melodies, and I'm like, where is that from? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, it's this song. But it's you guys write some really catchy stuff. Is there a particular way you guys go about writing? Do you guys write as a collective, or is it someone brings an idea?
I think recently, as a collective, I mean, I think me and Reagan owe a lot to Logan and Colton, writing all these beautiful melodies and stuff. We kind of, me and Reagan on the back end, the rhythm section,
Gotcha.
kind of come in and hey, let's touch up this, whatever. But
Sure.
fully songwriting is Logan and Colton.
Well, I appreciate that. It's we couldn't do this without everybody in the band for sure. It's a collective at this point. We might have started off with Colton and I writing songs on acoustic and bringing it to the table, but end of the day, it takes everybody to write the song. The Years Forgotten one we were talking about recently.
Yeah.
Man, it's newer for us. And it's way more the style we're looking to push, and that's because all of us wrote it from drawing board.
That was a really fun one for all of us to chime in and
Yeah.
write together and scrap certain parts, add certain things. It was a lot of fun.
Cool.
Absolutely.
So as a collective in writing, you feel does it feel like you're kind of finding the actual sound of what the band is gonna
I would
get
say
to?
so.
That's
yeah.
what we're narrowing in on right now, because right now our discography is so vast. We have heavier tunes that could, I don't know how you'd even
Almost hard rock pushing
hard rock
post grunge kind of style
stuff,
to a degree.
blues songs we
Yeah.
have in there, and then just we want to lean into more indie alternative kind
Rock,
of sound.
yeah,
Rock.
absolutely.
Gotcha. So you kind of do have a vision of where you want to end up as far as
Definitely.
at the moment. Do you think it's something you're going to continue to write the same similar stuff, or do you think it'll still always be kind of elevating and changing, or do you kind of feel like you found your niche?
I could see us absolutely continuing to elevate and change, and kind of just I think all of us are students and we're continuously learning what we're doing, and I think that comes with a little bit of a change in the style of music that you listen to at the time and what you're kind of inspired by. So I could see it absolutely changing, but at the core of it, we are interested in trying to do this indie alternative rock and kind of keeping that solidified throughout all the tracks that we do and all the albums we put out.
Definitely.
But, Colton and I, we got some southern rock blues, like she was saying. So, it'd be cool to have an EP or an album where you get a little more influence from that, and then, say, another one you do maybe a little more post-grunge hard rock style, but still indie at the end of the day.
So keeping it core, but just kind of branching off from
Absolutely.
the same.
Having
Exactly.
flexibility with it at the same
Being able
time.
to pivot in certain
I feel,
genres.
I feel like you do
Absolutely.
need to have a centered idea to kind of keep you together, or where you're going.
Baseline.
Yeah, that's a baseline you can branch off from there either way, but kind of keeping a certain style or motif, but kind of really digging around there and seeing what else like you can find with other genres. And like the big influence, is what you're listening to. I feel like that's always constantly changing, and you're always in different moods. So like that's, I mean, if you look at just even within yourself, like what you used to listen to versus what you listen to now on heavy rotation, normally it's a drastic change, and you. For me, it's like, I still go back and listen to that stuff, but it's not what I'm playing on the daily. You know what I mean? It's not what is
it's
making...
not what's inspiring me right now.
At the moment, what's making you feel like at the
Yeah.
moment. Like certain different things will like make you really, I feel like, emotionally involved in like what you're listening to and writing. So it changes. Is there anything like you've been listening to like lately that really kind of fits that bill?
Man, it's funny because I guess Colt and I both found ourselves on like a 2-3 month kick of Polyphia.
Really?
There.
Y'all have been. I need to listen to
we're
them
still
more,
on it,
but
dude.
they're
Polyphia
badass.
all fucking day, dude.
So
But
fucking
it's just crazy. It's crazy. But no, it's funny because my initial inspiration was Stevie Ray Vaughan. That's where a lot of the blues stuff comes from me.
Yeah, I see that.
And I just recently, I got a Strat for Christmas for my dad, which I'm very, 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 very thankful for. It's a very nice one. It's
gorgeous.
And it's funny because I feel like I've been running away from that for a while. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, just running away from Strats, and now that I got it, I'm fucking in love.
Yeah.
And so I found myself recently learning some Stevie Ray stuff all over again. So it's funny how you can get away from it and come back at the same time. But outside of that, Post Profit. I've been killing.
Shout out Post Profit.
Big shout out Post Profit.
What about you? What you got?
I think just like personal inspirations has been like this guy out of Denton, Darling Farm. It's been like huge inspo for me, like personally, as like an individual artist.
Yeah.
Just really great like indie music that's coming out of Denton. He's been awesome. Post Profit for sure.
It's crazy.
Someone huge that I draw a lot of like inspiration from is Tom Misch. He's like a funk like jazz artist.
Okay.
But I don't know. I feel like that's a constant one that like I always go back to.
Makes
so
sense, yeah.
Love him. Highly recommend.
No, I like that in all the suggestions. Like we had like some like locals from around here, which is fucking, and it's one thing that I stress a lot to people who like maybe haven't involved themselves in like scene and stuff. Like it's like you have no idea like what is in town, like the talent in town. Like,
absolutely.
I mean, Post Profit is Longview. I still consider that. Like they come here and play.
Close enough for us. Yeah,
close enough for us. Anything in Texas, you're local.
Definitely.
But yeah, like this area, in this small area, there's so many like talented like bands and stuff like that. Post Profit is honestly amazing like at what they do, and I'm always impressed by them.
Yeah, in all aspects. Like
in
they're
all
just
aspects.
killing it in every way.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
They're super good. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen with them. But you guys are talking about like kind of finding your style, like now that you are writing as a collective. Do you have like is there like a plan to like how you're gonna drop new music, or are you currently still like in writing process?
I think we in a way we've kind of just entered the writing process for the album, because we played a shit ton of shows in 2022 and 2021. That's all we did. Local, Denton, a little bit of Dallas, and last year was really good for us. We met NoiseROT, and we've had the opportunity to work with Dallas Independent Entertainment quite a bit. We're extremely affiliated with them. Shout out Jesse, shout out Daisy.
Yes.
But where was I going with that?
You just started the writing process.
Yeah, writing process. Yes, that's exactly.
So now that we're in
I do
January,
this professionally.
thing.
No.
I can tell.
I'm just kidding.
But now that we're in January, it's fun because we're not accepting shows. More so, we're just being very selective right now. We're going to give ourselves some time to really
down
write.
a little bit.
Yeah, get into the genre that we're here for. Years forgotten. It doesn't matter to anybody else, but you've seen that.
Yeah.
And so you kind of like know what we're talking about with that. That's kind of where we're going to push. And we really want to get an album going is the idea, and we'll I guess start working on that now.
It's literally
go from there.
Now we're starting to do
But
that.
like, sorry, we gotta go. Like, we gotta go.
So
This was nice.
yeah, exactly.
I think you guys definitely deserve like to be a little bit more selective like this year, because I think you hit the ground running and like played a ton of shows and kind of like. As far as from my perspective, really got your name out there with that live setting. I know anybody who's like watched you live, like immediate was like that's a solid ass fucking band. That's a really good band. Like that's really good music. So that I think you laid that groundwork, and now like okay, how do we follow up to when they see that show? What do they have? Which you guys have like quite a bit of music for like again just starting off, and again like these really catchy songs. Like I every like week or so, like I'll go and play them just like in order that they come up on Spotify. I was like, it doesn't matter which one's coming up. Cool, I got a bone to pick. Sure. And this is just from a writing standpoint that threw me off. First time I heard the first time I listened to it on recording, the Whatever Floats Your Boat, first one where you don't say boat and it's just whatever floats, and I'm like, boat, and I'm like, fuck, it's not on this one yet.
And always keep you guessing. That's all it is.
Honestly, it happens every time because I like want to, because it's so like, it's so catchy, like that melody and things like that. Yeah. Do you find yourself writing melodies like first, like vocal melodies, or do you kind of know what topic you're writing about?
That's a good question. I feel like I don't know the answer for you.
Great question. Man, I think, what always comes for me first is guitar. That's what I started with. So I'll get a little bit of structure, and immediately will come the melody first. Yeah. And, it's kind of like, from what I can pick up on, like from thinking back on how I've written all these songs, is just like, I'll sing the melody over and over again. Eventually, like a word or a phrase will come through. Yeah. And that kind of leads me in what the song's about. So it's kind of or since we're on a podcast, I mentioned a podcast. Joe Rogan, there was one time he said it, and I saw it, and it always stuck with me, honestly. He's talking about creativity and, like, being artistic seems to be like you're pulling from something else, and that's exactly what it is for me. It's just, like, tapping into it, and it flows naturally. You kind of get a really cool melody and words that fit it very well.
This is not the first time I've ran into somebody saying something that I've like done before when it comes to writing, because that's the way I write. Yeah. And it like, I don't think when I describe it to people who like don't write like lyrics or music and stuff like that, it's like, oh, it's really, what is it? It sounds like, I feel like it sounds like I'm being extra because like, oh, you don't understand. The song tells me like what it's about. Like I just listen to it, and I've done that where I'll just listen to like guitar melodies or whatever the song is, and I'll be like humming things, and then a word pops out, and I'm like, why did this word pop out? And then just deciphering what my brain was trying to like tell me, and just pulling, and then just writing it from there is something that I've had a few people like say it, and I'm like, I thought that was weird. I thought it was just me, and I'm like, but it feels like that's for me. It feels like I'm not having to force anything that way. Right. That way, it's flowing through.
It's very natural.
You know what I mean? I'm not really like trying. And I kind of later on in like my writing, I adopted a thing like if it's being really difficult and I'm like I can't write about it, then I just like it's time to like let it go for a while. I might come back later, but it's sometimes hard to like want to move on. Do you guys find yourself having like difficulty moving on from like writing a song, or do most of those moments feel like free flowing?
I feel like they're like machines for like songwriting. It is unreal because like I try to write like personal songs for like myself that I want to like put forward to the band like one day, but they just like crank them out like it's nothing, and I'm like, I've been trying to write a couple songs for like years. It's really wild to me, and it's very admirable because those are the songs we're performing on stage and like nailing in front of our audience. So I'm just like, badass.
Well, you gotta bring your originals too. That's how you find the collective sound.
We're waiting for them.
Well, I did hear that you at Chill Sounds was kind of one of the first times that you were starting to actually sing. Like,
that specific show for sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it really?
I think that was the first time we did that verse. We implemented my verse on that Years Forgotten song.
Yeah.
I think the week of.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Before, like, we were going to perform that.
Yeah, we're like, how do we turn this up for Chill Sounds? You're
right. We're like, let's add this song. We're going to write out Years Forgotten. Yeah. And then, by the way, Allie, you have a verse that you've never sang and played bass with. And I was like, okay. Let's do it.
And you nailed it. What do you know?
So how's that been, like, feeling since then? Like, are you getting more comfortable with it? Or were you comfortable, like, from then? Or was it, like, you a little nervous?
That show felt really good, and I felt confident after that, because I think we did a really good job. But, it was the connect, because, like, I've played guitar for, like, ever. Like, bass was, like, something I picked up to play with, like, Said the People.
Oh, okay.
So, like, playing bass in a different, like, rhythm versus, like, I could, like, sing all day. Like, that's easy for me. But, like, playing bass and, like, adding bass lines in that and trying to, like, sing over that is incredibly hard. And I'm glad I'm getting more comfortability in that, because it's really difficult sometimes.
It is. I have a project I'm working on actually with DJ, with Daniel, and with Edward. So we're like working on something. We're trying to do like we've been trying to do something forever, and for that one, I wanted to. I'm like, because I sing, but I'm like, I want to play an instrument. Like, it just looks so fun. You're probably one of the bands I've seen throughout the year where I'm like that, like just jamming out like those little like breakdowns and stuff like that you guys do, and just like jam. I'm like, that looks fun as hell.
Yes,
but like,
it is.
I'm like, yeah, and then I look at like what I want to write on the bass, and I'm like, that's really hard, and then I have to like sing over that. I'm like, oh, it's difficult.
Because you're in the pocket, like I'm following like the rhythm, like
Yeah.
the drums, and I'm like, it's a totally different beat from like what they're
Absolutely.
just strumming on guitar.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a
And then
weird
whatever
like
vocal melody you're gonna do on top of that, it's like,
yeah,
oh, like
it's literally like doing this.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much.
If I tried that, I end up slapping myself or something. But that's when I like this year, like one of my things that I wanted to like, I want to like actually like go out and take like bass lessons and start like at the bottom, because like I've played guitar like for a while, but never electric. I actually like grew up playing classical guitar. Like that's what I learned
no
first.
shit.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Cool.
Yeah, I grew up playing that, and then like I had like a flamenco band, and I like and after that, yeah,
Oh, yeah, dude. Shit. Yeah.
yeah. So it was fun. So I know how to do some of that stuff like still, but yeah. So it translates a little bit to bass, but I want to start. I don't want to be like, oh, I got it from here kind of thing. I want to start and give myself a chance from like the basic and learn to really give myself like a what is it? I guess bass line.
Bass line.
Ding. Oh. You should have brought the bass in. That's Jerry Seinfeld. But yeah, that's I like that you guys are like finding ways to like kind of evolve that and step outside your comfort zones and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
What I guess since the band started, what do you think has been the most like I guess probably the most difficult thing that you guys have faced like going forward in like the band?
What do you got for that?
Oof. Man. Help me out, Cole. What you got on that one? Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
That is the
That is a
one.
good one.
Money is hard.
Money.
The financing. Yeah, no, that's a great point, Colton. Thank you. He's off screen. But
Cole's off screen.
no, financing has definitely been pretty tough. You know, Colton and I went into this, and Allie and Reagan, I think, are completely on board with this too. That we run this as like a business, because you have to. You know, if you're gonna DIY it as far as you can, whatever, you got to run it like a business. You got to be smart with the decisions you make, where you spend your money, how you make your money, when you can make your money, and I think a lot of our profit has come solely from the merch that we've sold.
Yeah.
And so like merch is very important for bands, and
very
being able to
expensive
stay on
to
top
have
of
merch.
that and kind of have new merch and competitive merch, so to say. You know, you really want something that people are going to look at and they're not just like, hey, that support set the people, I want to buy that. They're going to be like, that's a dope fucking shirt. I want to wear that, you know? And so
Even if they didn't catch our set, they're like, that's a cool shirt.
that's cool. If you can double on that, like people are going to buy it and they're going to wear it, which is cool, because that's the whole point. You know, that's that word of
It's
mouth. That's
advertising,
that social.
yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So, like recently, we came into some cool shit. We got to work with Daniel Hambright.
Yeah. Shout out Daniel.
Shout out Daniel. Holy shit.
Damn
shout
goat.
Unreal.
Alinea.
Yep.
I swear, anything this man touches is gold. All right.
For real, though. That's
Amen.
like,
Yeah.
no cap.
This
All the
section of the
flyers,
podcast brought to you by Daniel Hambright and Alinea.
Yeah, dude, we got some merch designs from him that were just absolutely stunning, and
Bangers.
we just released one. We're doing a pre-sale for the first of like 4 that we have, and it's cool. We're excited to show them. You know, it was definitely a lot of money, or not a lot, but it was just like for us, it's a stepping stone. It's, you know, moving forward and making sure that you're keeping your finances in straight.
It's definitely
and
a bigger
still making
investment
income.
for this run. You know,
100%, yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, people like to support and buy merch when they see like a band they like, and that's the quickest way to do it. You know what I mean? That's the most like direct to person. It's like you're right there. Like, what can I do? And one thing first that I realized, I'm like, oh, though, if they like you, they're gonna, you know, buy whatever. So yes, you could like print simple stuff and things like that, whatever you to make a quick turnaround. But the thing that you said is something that I realized when I'm like, if you need something that they'll actually wear.
Yeah.
I go, because like the more they wear it, the more they're just wearing it on. People was like, what is that shirt? I was like, oh, this, you know, this is an Animal Jam shirt. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like if it's comfortable, if it's something you wear, then it becomes a daily, and then it gets, you know, with social media and stuff, like anytime they take a picture or whatever, sometimes let me tag them, like, you know, blah blah. And it's little things like that where it's just free ad space, stuff like that.
It goes a long way other than
Yeah,
just the
weird.
sale. You know, like
yeah.
it's way more than that.
Plus, yeah, and it also like made me feel anytime I bought something that was really like nice and quality, be like, oh, like and from like someone at a local, it was like, oh, they really like are putting forth like their best. So like the same effort I'm seeing in the performance and this music, like are putting towards anything that they're putting out, and I'm like that's pretty like. I think people recognize that, but I had to learn that people will support no matter what. Like, so whatever you have, you had to have something.
They will.
Like, so like playing live shows, especially if like again you want to finance yourself, you gotta have merch. Like, you gotta have something that in their immediate thing. Because if they gotta go home and like do something, it becomes that much more difficult like, to get them to order something,
to find you.
Or even to find you. You know what I mean? Even making sure that they know. You know where you are, like meeting people. It's a weird concept. I still find to be like, oh, like look me up right now, and like, but like I've been getting a little more comfortable. I was like at Sam's Club yesterday, and I was talking to one of the workers, and they were like, oh, like what do you do? And then like this podcast got brought up, and then like they pull up their Spotify. I was like, oh yeah, let me find it. I found it and followed it for them. I was like, there you go, like whatever. But like trying to be more confident, like selling yourself for it, because like it's. Again, like at least for me, like sometimes it's a little awkward to do that, but you also know that you believe in what you're doing and like your band.
Exactly.
A lot of people need to know that most of the money that gets made on stuff just is only going to be reinvested into the band. Like, it's just being recycled.
Absolutely.
Like, nothing is take home. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody is like making like a profit most part. Like, it's just like, oh, this money, what do we use next? Like, do we need, like, again, buy more merch or like, you know, this
re-up on shirts.
Yeah.
Goes towards the album, like, or just recording a single.
Recording,
at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How, did you guys record all in the same place for your singles, for everything you put out so far?
We've jumped around a little bit.
Yeah.
So our first, our Radio Silent EP was recorded by Nathan Clark in Denton, Texas. He plays in Dust Mothers. He was in, what was it, Cosmic
Lotteries.
Lotteries, yes. Yeah. Amazing producer. He like really did us good for starting out.
Yeah.
And then Sam Farr from Havnier.
Havnier.
Yeah. Far Out
Havnier.
Sounds. He has
Shout out.
recorded us
Nice.
too.
Shout out Sam Farr.
Yeah, so we've had 2 producers so
Cool.
far. So.
Okay. Do you think for like your next stuff you're gonna work with the same people, or like, are you trying to find somebody else? I know your sound's changing, so.
Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of spitballing right now, like where to go, because we're just starting our writing process.
Yeah.
So
You know, we've had quite a few different people reach out to us, and it's cool. It's cool having different options. It's also hard having different options, and it's hard to go with like who you think is the best or versus who you like to record with the most and shit. So we're spitballing. It's new for us. You know, I think right now we're really focused in on 2 things, which is making new music for the album and financing the album. You know, once we get money. So that's kind of what we're looking at. But you know, it's cool. Again, we're deciding right now. I think it's kind of where we're at on that.
Some pre-orders available now for all merch. Get some merch.
Absolutely.
If you want new music, please buy some shit.
Yes, please.
Yeah, the thing about working with people with like producing or even just like recording and things like that is how to be it's hard to try someone out before you've worked with them. Yeah. Because all you have is their past like work to work with, and I'm like, okay, like, but will they work like that with me, or will it be different with me, or like what experience you're gonna get? Yeah. So it is very difficult picking somebody to go with, because like I said, there's one thing about like, oh, what records have they produced? Like, oh, okay, this sounds good, but it's also like, how was the experience working with, you know, this particular person? Yeah. Was it like, you know, did it go smoothly? Did we have a lot of like rough things, you know? Because like there's when my band, I used to play in a metalcore band called Under Oblivion, and we recorded an EP. EP, like people heard it and they're like, came out really good. An absolute nightmare to record. Like it was really terrible. Like it was a terrible experience. Yeah. So you know it was bad, and it was like our first time like recording. There was like all these like miscommunications, and it was very difficult. So I'm like, so people were like, oh, it's good. Like, you know, would you recommend it? And I was like, no, probably not. You know, like I go, this is a product you will get. I go, but this was our experience. You know what I mean? Like you could have a different experience than mine. So I also don't like directly messing up with people's like livelihoods and money. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, they fucking suck like this. I'm like, I go, this was the experience. This is the product. You could have something else. I go, you know what I mean? That's really weird when it comes to like messing with like the way, because that's like the way they were making their money. So I'm like, I'm not gonna go on, you know, Yelp
shit
review.
down
Shit on
about
it,
it.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's really difficult to hand somebody like, this is what we've been working on.
Yeah.
Now please do it justice. You know,
Well,
like
it's so strange too, because like I feel like our live sound is like what we want to capture.
100%.
You know, like
Yeah.
and I don't know how to explain that to like a producer other than like performing it, I guess, in front of them. Because I don't know. I guess with Nathan and Sam that we've worked with, they're phenomenal, but like they've done a huge like wide variety of music too. So it's like I kind of don't know where I was getting at with that.
No,
but
but
it's like
I feel that because
our live sound is unique too.
Exactly,
Yes.
and that's kind of what I guess we figured out back like in November around the time where Chill Sounds and Breakdowns is like. We have a cool thing going for our live sound.
Yeah.
Like it's really coming together, and we're really figuring out like what we want to do. We're taking some time writing new music, but also production style, like what we're looking at for. I don't know. I'm not gonna step too far, but like lights and like whatever, like kind of different shit we can add into it to make it like a full experience. And so now I'm doing the same thing. But no, it's cool. It's cool just because it is hard finding the producer that you think can really bring out that particular live sound that you're so used to hearing in practice and at shows, you know, and it's just like what's in our bones, but how do you explain that, you know, like kind of stuff like that.
I've had instances where I've had like bands have the experience of where like somebody that was like a fan of theirs, like, you know what I mean, like knew what their sound like was like live and things like that, and how to capture energy, then work with them to like record that. But that's like someone who's like experienced it, but like that's like a heavy like investment from somebody to be like, instead of you try to go hire somebody like, can you like go like to 4 of our live shows and then like that's what I want. You're like, figure it out.
And that,
which is cool. Like if you ever find somebody to be able to do that, that'd be awesome. But yeah, there's something about that live like sound and setting that you want to capture fully, because that I've seen a lot of bands that have been seen for the first time like live, and that's how like they capture me. Like if I would run into like the recording first, I'd be like, maybe, you know what I mean, it's just the live performance captures not only like, hey, that's a good song, but it's like, oh, that energy was crazy. Like so that's like weird to put that on a record. Like how do you get that on there? And then I find myself with like some of my favorite like albums are really like shitty recordings. Yeah. And then I'm just like, you know what is this? Like, is it just like the music has to speak for itself? I'm like, yes, it does.
Yes.
I go, so it's like a balance of like, how long do I wait to put something out to record it the right way? And then it's, you know, making sure I do put out stuff and know that people will like it, like no matter what. Because there's a bit of, I think, especially when your own music, like a bit of perfectionism that you're like, I need this to sound.
Like making sure everything's like absolutely perfect. And it's like some of the best records that have ever been recorded, you know, they're out of tune. Like it's not perfect. Like, you know, it's not a perfect album, but it is in the same way because it's very human. Yeah. You know, like it's.
I guess, but to touch on
that, that goes into like overproduction of like making everything too perfect.
And that's the thing is, I think we're looking for more of that natural thing too. Like, you know, if there is like something that's a little bit out of tune, like fuck it, leave it. You know, at the end of the day, like we're not worried. It's
that horrible. It's like, okay, let's run that back again.
Let's do it over.
But then there's even some where you'll feel like that thing is horrible, and everybody else is just hearing a song together. Yeah. But you know it so well that you know exactly where like it's off. You know,
you're like waiting for it the whole time.
Yeah, it's that whole like you know experience after. Like I used to be so self-deprecating with playing live shows where I knew that I fucked up like 5 times. And I would get off stage, and like everybody would be like super excited, like this was fucking great, blah, amazing. And I used to be like, nah, we fucked up this one, and I'm like, I need to just shut up. Like,
I kind of did that too.
Yeah, I was like, I need to stop, like, cause I'm ruining someone's moment of watching this band.
They're just like really proud of you.
He's like, you're stupid. You thought that was good. Like that's kind of the vibe I think I was giving off. I'm like, you think that was good? You don't know shit. Like,
I've literally had moments of that. It's hard because it's like I know I fucked up. Yeah, you know, like.
But overall, it's like the performance was
they still
great,
enjoyed it.
And it's shit like that, you know, it's, 100%. I couldn't agree with you more, dude.
It's because it's real easy because, again, you know exactly what it is. But it took me a good while before I was comfortable with being like, you know what, I just got to go up there and have fun and, you know, make sure it's a good performance. Right after, if I messed up, there's nothing I can do about it until we practice and have another show.
And no one else notices anyway. Like
they don't know at all.
Yeah, I mean, because you just listen to the song as a whole, and you like I've had maybe instances where I'm like, was that like something? But it's like, I mean, it's not like I'm gonna go ask. Like,
Yeah.
I think you forget about 10 seconds anyway.
You know, about minute 2:10, like you hit the wrong string by mistake.
0.2 milliseconds.
Yeah.
Fucking shit.
But people, I think that's what I enjoy most about like the music scene and everything going on. Is like listening to music just to listen to it, just to have fun. Like that's why I like mixed genre stuff. That's why I like seeing multiple different like stuff, because I find a lot like things. Sounds and different bands and stuff I wouldn't normally listen to, and give it a shot instead of immediately going to like, oh, like this is something I don't like right off the bat. So I think that's kept it open. Have you guys? I mean, Chill Sounds was mixed bills. Have you guys done a lot of like mixed bill stuff? Like,
I feel like everyone we play.
Yeah,
played a lot of mixed bill.
Yeah.
You guys run into anything like anyone being weird about it? Like, if you're like. You were feeling like out of place at a show?
No. I mean,
I don't think so.
In my experience, everybody's been really nice to us, man. It's been really cool. Like in the scene, we haven't had. I don't think we've had any issues with any bands. No issues with the promoters. Nothing. Just I think if you give respect, you get respect. You know.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
I remember one time when we played Punks and Painters, we felt like we were so like out of place on it, and we were just like, we got on stage and we're like. We play zero punk music, so enjoy whatever we're about to play. So like, oh my god, I think it's just owning it too. It's like we're not anything like the rest of the band, so enjoy.
No, it's been cool. It's it's fun. I really enjoyed playing the mixed show and just getting to know everybody like in the scene and whatnot.
Yeah,
I think so too, because it's a pool we wouldn't expect ourselves to be in. Yeah. You know, because we're like, I don't know,
whatever style we're figuring out, but. You know, as we said, we're kind of being like selective with shows a little bit now. It's just so we can kind of hone in a little bit more on like the same genre style is what we're looking at now. But end of the day, I don't think we're too worried about it. You know, I like meeting people. I like meeting, like you said, it's fun to listen to different styles of music. It's really fun to listen to it live and like really like get that like vibe from them and like see what energy they're trying to push out to the audience. I've loved it. I've had a wonderful time like being at shows. And
that's good. I think that's the right attitude to have. And again, I 100% know that you guys have picked up like fans that you wouldn't have like if you were just playing like within your like pocket, which is like those shows are good too. Like you like-minded people from other ones, but those mixed genre ones, if done like tastefully, like you get new fans that are like, oh, I wouldn't have gone out and seen it, or like specifically to that. But because you were in this, like it works out. You like meet new people, and it's really cool. I think that's probably like it's funny, like the style that like I've heard from you guys is not something I've like specifically listened to like in a while, and then you guys kind of brought like I'm like, oh, I love that like a lot. Cool. Like, and then now it's like opening me up to like look more stuff like along that line. Cool, you know what I mean? So that's why I speak from experience with like you guys. I'm like, oh, like this is like these are really good songs, like and they're catchy, and I find myself like the older I get, I like more stuff that's just really catchy. So like stuff with like nice chords, like you can do that with any genre. Like it's just like doing it. So like the songs that you guys are really like well structured in that where like they're that type that get stuck in the head, and I'm like that's a good one. You know what I mean? Like that's a good thing. Nice. Cool. We're about halfway. Does anyone want to tag in, tag out? We're fine here. I'm fine.
Ready to swap-a-roo?
If
get a couple more members in?
The 18?
You believe these nerds over here? What are we talking about?
Fuck you!
We need y'all's koozies.
Hey, thank you, OC.
Appreciate you. And we're back. I'm sorry. I apologize for that technical difficulty, but we are financing this all ourselves, so this equipment fucking sucks. That camera fucked up? It's all right. We're going to keep going just with the camera and you guys. So you guys are all the entertainment. It's just my voice on there, okay?
Oh, shit.
So you got to, whenever I'm talking, you got to be moving.
Okay.
You guys picked the wrong time this week.
No, this is fine. I think we were both ready. I think we were both ready for this moment.
Both ready.
I really do believe that.
Okay. No, okay, so now we're back with Colton and Reagan. You guys are doing great. You guys have been chilling over there. Now it's time to talk a little bit. So what's been the experience with you guys, like, starting the band off? Like, did you guys have, like, something in mind to, like, what you wanted to write, or were you just like, I'm just trying to jam?
Go first. Man, for me, I had all kinds of different ideas of what our music should be, honestly. Like, and I think just being a part of this band has like grown me as a musician and just like allowed me to get out of my comfort zone and try a lot of new things. And hear a lot of new perspectives that are better than my own, and it's just very cool because when you put it all together and all the different creative mindsets to it, it creates something really pretty and beautiful. And once you hit like the nail on the head with that, I know we've talked about an unreleased song called Years Forgotten, but like that's a good example of putting all our noggins together and making something really cool. So I think that's a good example of that.
Yeah, I joined the band after it had already started, so I wasn't even on the first EP. I joined in May, which is what they said is like the original, with all four of us.
Gotcha,
right?
okay.
So I joined after they had already started doing stuff. But for me, I play in another band as well. That's like I would consider it like a psychedelic like math rock band.
Okay.
That's like really fucking confusing and really, to be honest, annoying to play in sometimes. Like I love it with my whole heart. Like it's like I love it. But
plug it too.
But it's that
King
band
Turtle.
is King Turtle.
King Turtle. Why have I heard of King Turtle?
Well, I don't know if you have,
we've
because
heard
we
of
are
King Turtle.
the worst at social media and bad at being a band.
No, just
but
like
that's
okay. Anyways.
But anyway, but that band like really challenges me to play things with interesting time signatures. Interesting. They do really crazy chord progression, shit like that. So when I came to Said the People, I really just enjoyed the music they were putting out, and I was friends with all these guys, so I just wanted to get involved in any way that I could. Now that it's kind of gone down the road, I feel like I find myself kind of pushing them to kind of like, hey, maybe let's make this a little bit weirder.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I'm used to playing really weird ass shit with my other band, and it's really challenging. But even if none of the ideas actually come to fruition, it challenges us as musicians to like mess around with different time signatures, like mess around with certain stops, breaks, stuff like that, and just kind of spice it up, add some like seasoning to it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. Like I find it a lot with like people who play in multiple bands. Like they always there's always like a bleed over like into like every like band. So like you bring ideas like from another one, and coming from something like that, like you know with that type of like different style of playing and things like that, I feel like that was just gonna push this music to be more than what like you're originally planning for it to be or what you think it could be. So like I think it does benefit like the band and like and this band in particular because it's weird. It's you know if it's weird that's coming in, like you said, the ideas might not make anything, but it might inspire like something else. Do you guys have you mentioned this like you know, not sometimes like someone else pointing out something that you wouldn't have thought of like in a songwriting. No. Have you ever found it difficult like to accept like a different idea from like your original vision or something like that?
Take Simple Mind.
I was about to say Simple Mind.
So like that's kind of exactly what I'm talking about. It was just written as like a, you know, verse chorus bridge chorus and song, and you know, and it was fine. It was fine.
It was
did
an
okay.
acoustic,
you did
basic 4-chord.
And then I was like, guys, we got to make this like different. We got to like fucking change the intro. We got to like change some stuff and so we did. We added an intro that ended up starting a verse, like a portion of the verse, and then repeating, and then we go into like a sort of like a pre-chorus type thing. Like the first verse is all very tom heavy, and then it kind of gets into the song that way, and then we ended up doing switching from 4/4 to 3/4.
Okay.
And halfway through the song, so it definitely got doctored after it was already like created. It was created in its entirety, and then we were like, let's fuck it up really bad.
And honestly,
and we changed it a lot. So go ahead.
Well, honestly, it was really hard for me to adapt to it because I had written that was one of the earlier songs that I wrote on an acoustic, and the way I played it was so different than the way we attacked it as a band, and so for me it was hard to like adapt to.
Did you feel like it was just like difficult to get down, or was it like a little pushback of like I don't know about this?
That was definitely what he was doing.
I didn't.
Whatever he said.
I was. No, he's right, and I just didn't. I'm a drummer too, and so it was just coming. He had written something on drums that my brain didn't instinctively like realize, if that makes sense. So it was hard for me to have the vocal melody over a certain rhythm on drums, but once I got it down and once it was all put together and timed right, it sounded really good. But for a while there, it was hard for me to learn it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It was about a bitch. So.
Did you have like, because I've had a moment like this with something similar happening, but like after like it's said and done, I'm like, oh, I am like really grateful like this like shit happened, and like it kind of felt like challenging, but
well, you think it's better now, right?
100%.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah. No,
Christ.
No, I agree. It's a dope song. Now it just took me a while to learn. That's the honest truth. So.
I've had that instant like in the band that I used to play. One of our guitar players brought an idea that was completely different. It was really fucking aggressive into something. I'm like, oh, I've never written anything like that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that doesn't fit with like what the band's doing. Like it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And then like after I got over it for a second, I was just like, well, let me see if I can even do it. Maybe it's just me like bitching out that I can't write to it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, let me challenge myself. And it came out with something like I was like, oh, I would have never created something like that if I like just kind of sat in my comfort zone. So it's really difficult, especially when you write like you wrote something and you're like, I like this, and it's like someone's like, well, we can do all sorts of shit here. You know what I mean?
So
and then you're like, oh fuck, like it's a challenge on something that you kind of thought was kind of complete. So I can definitely see like being real, like not even defensive, but what's the right word?
Apprehensive.
Yeah, apprehensive is the word.
Yeah.
Well, that's the fun part of like working in a group, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like having the opportunity to present something that you're really proud of, and somebody's like, "I like that a lot. What if we?" And you have to think of it as, and I guess in a way of like, they're not shitting all over your idea.
Yeah.
They're just like, "Hey, I have ideas to tweak this and maybe make it better. Here's some like creative criticism."
That is the key.
Like it's not like this sucks. Let's fucking change it. It's more like, I think this would sound really good right here in this specific spot instead.
Yes, what you just said is me, though. I always think when anybody ever says anything about anything that I've done, I'm like, you think it sucks? Why? Like, I'm just like, why are you saying this to me? And it pisses me off. That's my instinct.
You're a big baby.
That's a real feeling, though. Like,
it's true.
It's really weird.
It's emotions. Like, it's emotions I'm feeling at points, so I have to, like, stop myself and be like, listen, pal. Like, up here, I'm just like, just pay attention and give it some thought and, like, give it a chance. So.
Especially when it's, like, your own band members. It's like, we're in the same band. Like, so if I'm saying something, it's because I want, like, the song to be great, like, for the band, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm shitting on because I don't want you to write anything or because like I think your ideas are dumb. It's just like, oh, I think we can create. And like I said, at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily always have to change. Like, but giving it that shot usually like changes it for something or inspires something to come out of it. Like even from yourself, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I didn't know I could do this.
Well, think about it for instance this way too. Is like I just play drums, right? And I don't fucking play any other instrument, so I can't like come up with a guitar melody or lyrics or anything else at all. So like if I were to write an entire song on drums, like that's just a rough draft, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like there's nothing else to it really. So it's kind of the same way as I think of as like if you wrote an entire song on an acoustic guitar. Yeah, even though you have like the chord progression and the melody and the vocals with it, you know, you don't have any of the other stuff that really makes it a full band produced song.
Yeah.
And so you kind of need all that stuff like in my other band, I wrote a whole song on drums, and like I had an envision for it, and they were like, "We're just gonna do this instead." They were like, "This sounds way better," and they were right. Their idea was way fucking better than mine, and it totally worked out. So.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. I have a friend who is a drummer, and that's all he plays. He's a fantastic fucking drummer, but putting out a solo album. So all like these guitar parts and stuff like are written. He's writing with one of his friends, but they're written from his point of view of what he wants. So you can kind of see it because it's a lot of like syncopation, like all these like little like cuts and stuff. I'm like that's what he wants. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
his
cool,
solo project, he's doing it like that. In a band, it's kind of weird because like from whatever instrument you're like dominant on, normally you'll see the song from like that point of view, and like it's harder for you to envision. Like I used to write. I only sing. I only do vocals. So it's like I wish I knew how to play one instrument to write music, but all I have is like melodies in my head. Is like, can you do this? So luckily like I'm working on a project with a friend, and we kind of understand each other in that way. So if I say something, like it'll inspire something that I didn't tell him verbatim, but he's like figuring out from like what. So literally learning how to like communicate with your bandmates and like what works and like what's in your head, what can you do off of that idea. And like build and again like compromise is one of the biggest things like in a band in general. Like the more members you have, the more people you're gonna have to compromise with or understand or take change. But you end up with some cool shit. I mean, the music you guys have put out, like the recent singles, you know, even like after the EP with all the new stuff, is the stuff that you've worked on now.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, all of those songs are fucking fantastic. You know what I mean? And then you're like doing like greater shit. Like it's all really good. But like I think as a whole, like you're saying, you're like kind of finding like where you guys are at, how you guys write, what's the best way to write. Yeah. Man, the groove is. I love that word. It's a nice word. Like, that like the phrase "being in the pocket" just feels so nice. Like yes, like when you finally feel like it's fluent.
Fucking bet
it does. So, is there anything you like more about like, or not even like more, but like prefer more in like this band versus like some like maybe your other projects? Like, what do you think you? Not even like better, but what do you like out of this band?
I don't know. Let me think for a second.
Okay.
I guess I like the tenacity of this band.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it's very much like they talked about in the early part of the podcast. They're very much focused on driving it forward as a business aspect, and I'm really, really shitty at that personally.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten so much shit from all these guys about being so bad at social media and like. I'm so shitty at contributing to like.
We're not mean to Reagan.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I'm here against my will.
Breaking news.
Tell me your address again.
Reagan.
I'm sorry. No, but
this is actually.
But they really do. They do a lot of like the legwork behind the scenes.
Yeah.
To really push this band forward. And I don't really get to experience that in my own my outside projects.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of just whoever wants to fucking make an Instagram post does, and
and
we're just my other band. We're not great at social media. I think we're a great band, but we're just fucking piss poor at marketing and stuff. So I'm really thankful that this band actually is like, here's like a marketing strategy almost, and like here's how we're gonna like plan to like finance some stuff that we're doing, because that's really cool. And if I were left to my own devices, we would not even be close to as far as we've gone. So,
but see it's hard because in this like day and age, unfortunately, like content creator is another title you have to have, like in being a musician, and it's something that I've like for a while like I wanted to fight against because I'm like the way it is now. Before I
personally hate it so much, which is another reason I'm so bad at it too. Like I can't do it. Man.
It's weird. I enjoy doing when I like making stuff because I've always liked creating like videos and things like that, like my whole life. But like being forced to have to like post something, it's like it's a balance. Like you have to find the right the way I've tried to tackle it is like I want to find the most authentic way I can create something for myself and not try to just follow like what everybody else is doing. So because that way I can make it comfortable enough for me to want to do it. Because otherwise I'm like I'm not gonna like this is gonna be boring and it's gonna be that. That's why like. I like that the podcast I get complete control of like what goes out and stuff like that. So I'm like, I enjoy doing this. I go this like these are just like cool talks that I get to have like for me it's short. Like I get to help promote like bands around town that I really like. I get to help business and stuff like that. But for me, I'm like I love these conversations. Like talking to people that like love what they're doing or just like music or anything like that. Like that's just like that's for me. I'm like so I get to do that. And like doing this, I realized because like for a few of the last podcasts, I stopped doing any of the editing. So I was just doing like the posting, and that was it. Really?
Bert
was doing me the awesome favor of helping me like edit all of it. So all my hands were off of it. For those months, I realized like I don't feel good. Like I feel like I'm not doing anything.
All right.
And then I took just one part of the editing back, and I had a blast. I'm like just cutting stuff, and I'm like, oh, I actually enjoy doing this. I kept acting like it was a chore, and it really wasn't. But there's certain things about having to post, like everybody like posting on something, it helps tremendously. Like what you're doing, you know what I mean? Like everybody like agreeing on like what gets posted, like making sure you're promoting shows, like get people to come out to your show. That's why in NoiseROT for us, like that's what I do. So all like the content, anything that gets made, like promoting bands and things like that, those are things that like I make. And I'm like, okay, I enjoy that because like there's if you don't have time, I think about it from being in a band standpoint. I was like, if you don't have time to make stuff for yourself, we'll try to make stuff for you. So you can just all you have to do is like share it for yourself. But someone made something for you and content things like that for you to share. So to make it a little easier on bands, to be like, okay, this is stuff that I didn't have to personally make, but I have stuff now that I can share. You know what I mean? Like,
right,
exactly. Because I do know how like important it is in this day and age, and it is a task to have to do on top of like being a creative. You know what I mean? Like on top of having like, oh, I have to write music. Why can't that just be it? You know what I mean? Like, but being able to promote yourself is important, especially like to get people out to shows and things like that.
Yes, that's what I have to plug our amazing manager Daisy here, because you mentioned content.
Shout out Daisy.
Yes, Daisy at Energetic Enigma. She's our manager. She also works for Dallas Independent Entertainment, which was mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
they're awesome. But yeah, she literally, we suck at the social media, the content creation, the marketing strategy, all these things that make what you just mentioned, honestly, she brings to the table for us. And hell, she just at our last show, Logan and I went and visited Big Rob's for Ethan Massey's birthday show.
Yeah.
And she's over here telling us, like, look, you need to go freaking make friends and take pictures with people, post them, and just be friendly. Like, and we are friendly, but it takes us an extra step out of our comfort zone to go meet people and do all these things that is the content creation. Because when you get photos, like, it's just one big picture that she has such a firm understanding of, and she literally impacts our band in so many different ways. So, I mean, we wouldn't be half the band we were without her today. So, yeah, she's literally critical in content creation and many other avenues.
Shout out Daisy.
Yes.
But one thing you touched upon is social media is like, I've gotten to a point where I'm like, yes, it's very important, but I've come to find that like, talking to people has been like the biggest benefit, more than like social media. Like you make a bunch of posts, but you meet like 2 people and have like actually make a connection with those people. Like those people are gonna actually like talk up your band or whatever, or you know whatever. Like, or they'll next time there's a show, you guys call each other, things like that. But that the word networking always seemed really weird. I thought it was like these like fancy parties you had to go to and like but it's literally just like, oh, at a show, talk to like a handful of people, and they, not all those connections are gonna work, but.
Oh,
that's my phone. That's mine, I think.
Oh shit! Well, it's about to be my phone too. Oh wait, no, I got 30 minutes till my alarm goes off, so we're good. Also, I just remembered that we're the only entertainment for this camera.
Yeah, you gotta keep.
So we just sat there and listened to him. And we were just like, so we gotta do something, dude.
You're right.
Y'all agree.
Should we be arm wrestling? Just kidding.
I ain't trying to embarrass you in front of your dad, dude.
Damn. Your dad's watching, Colton?
He will be.
Oh,
Likely. Highly likely.
I told him
Brett.
Nah, I apologize for the technical difficulties. Colton's down, right?
I told him to watch, dude.
I told him.
He'll be tuning in, dude.
But yeah, it's very important. But like again, you guys have written some really like dope songs and dope music, and it's something to definitely be proud of. And excited about, because it's funny, but I'm excited like for you, like from seeing like, dude, you guys are playing some really good music. You played a shit ton of shows, and like I think made yourselves like really known, at least like in my eyes and to people around. Like anytime like anyone mentions, I make sure to be like, that's a really fucking good band. Like I try to do that with anybody I
You're
see.
A saint.
Like I really like, if I recognize that, there's no like in my eyes, like there's no like competition and stuff, like who's better and who's like, it's just who's fucking good, who do I like, because it's all like subjective in the end. But you know, so saying I refrain from like, if in now and like how like I guess the older I get, I stop trying to say that stuff is trash. Like sometimes I feel like,
hey man, some stuff is trash.
Some stuff
it's okay for shit to be trash, but
hey dude, some shit is trash.
It just matters who you tell it to.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I won't publicly go like and be like, all right,
keep your opinions to yourself.
Yeah,
at a show, you know what I mean?
Keep it in your little tiny, super tiny circle.
All right, hot takes. What do you think is true? No, I'm just kidding.
Speaking of super tiny circles.
So here's a few bands I think are trash. No, I'm just kidding. No chance. No chance that's happening. I'm just kidding, but no.
What about, let's spin it around. What are some bands that you actually really like around?
Oh man, dude, I've been on a Unity TX kick, and I know they're pretty big.
They're pretty sick, dude.
They are
Unity's
sick.
It took me a long time to come around on them, but they're fucking cool, man.
They write nothing but bangers that are charged up. You know? Like, they are dope, and they are songs that make you want to sprint through a brick wall, that if you're going through some shit, you listen to. It's like,
down, dog.
Listen to Unity and tell me I'm wrong. Their songs are like built for badass. It's just awesome. And being at their show, I have not been.
Are you just speaking like vicariously living through somebody else who's doing all that stuff?
At this time, I am. Somebody I've heard through the grapevine that their shows are insane. So I would love a chance at seeing a Unity show.
You missed what I was saying, but it's okay.
I'm so
We're just
sorry.
gonna clip that and make it a Unity TX commercial.
Flip it. Flip it.
I'm glad I missed whatever he was saying.
Man, most of my favorite like local bands come out of Denton.
Cool.
I think. Dude, Bad Dad Jokes. Rest in peace.
Yeah, makes
me want to literally.
They had their last show.
Makes me want to die, dude. They're literally some of the most talented musicians, and I loved the kind of music they were putting out. But Dust Mothers as well is incredible.
Dust Mothers.
Dust Mothers is OG.
God, there's so many good ones, dude. Fucking. I'll come back to that. I'm just gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? Just throughout the podcast, like as you're talking to me, I'm just gonna interrupt you and just be like, Animal Jam or something like that, and that's just gonna be like a band that I just throw in.
Ceci.
Oh yeah, dude, we love Ceci. Ceci's actually formerly Ceci, now Ceci, because she made it Ceci because. If you Googled her, or I'm sorry, not Googled. If you looked her up on Spotify, there was like 500,000 Ceci's that would come up. So now she's Ceci.
Isn't that a weird thing you have to think about? Is like searchability. What is that?
Yeah, dude.
It's I don't think I've ever like thought about it, think about it, but I've gone to look at some bands and I'm like, I can't find it. Like especially like when we're like promoting shows and stuff. When I go to find, there was one band, I can't remember their name, but I looked it up and there was infinite pages and I'm like, I don't know which one it is. I was like, I got that email like, send me which one of these.
It's always like a pop punk band or like some metal band or something.
It was a pop punk. It was a punk band.
Every time.
It was a punk band.
It's like The Fallout or some shit. Yeah. There's like 500 of those
something
motherfuckers.
project.
Sorry to anybody who's listening to this that's in a project called The Fallout. That was just an example. But you know what I'm saying.
Damn, here exclusively, Reagan's calling out The Fallout.
Yeah, I want to fucking fight all you guys.
Whoever that band.
Probably not, dude. I'll probably lose. I'll just
all 10 of you.
Don't want to fight you.
To fight you guys. I don't.
We don't want to fight you.
Colton and his dad want to fight you guys. I'm gonna fucking.
This section of the podcast is just Colton naming people he wants to fight.
Father is involved at this point still, but we're past that now. But yeah,
are we?
Hopefully.
Not on my watch, but
not on my watch. Anyways. Yeah, that search shit is weird. Like finding a unique name for it. Honestly, it happened to me. So Logan texted me earlier, and it's like when he's telling me what he gets, like, "Oh, this is like Logan from SCP," and media was like, "Stone Temple Pilots." Like, I was like, "Wait, hold on." I was like, "When did the podcast blow up that big? What the hell?" Like,
yeah,
I was like, "Who's coming on?" Oh, yeah, I was about to say something sad. I was like, "Both of those vocalists aren't here," but that's sad.
Pour some out.
That's meteor up there. Yeah, in the mouth. No, the carpet's already pretty dirty in here.
Oh.
If you see the cat.
I thought that was just like designed this way.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is. Yeah, someone came in
I
and
thought
did
this was artistic choice right here.
Yeah, it's called Avant Dirt.
Avant Zenny, dude. That's Avant Zenny right there.
Bro, Zenny did break in here when we were
classic,
painting,
dude.
and then like those are paw prints because he got into the paint and like walked all over the fucking
He's a bad
carpet.
motherfucker, dude. He does what he wants, man. He's creating something.
He's like, "Oh, you painting in here?"
Smack down.
He's like, I'm painting here.
I'm painting in here.
That's right, dude.
Man, yeah, that cat. Yeah, I swear.
Where's that guy, dude? We gotta get him up on the camera.
Yeah. Open the door.
You gotta show him off to the people, dude.
Show him off to the people, man. But man, what was your guys' experience during Chill Sounds? Did you guys have fun?
Dude, it was absolutely killer. It was literally amazing. It was packed from like top to bottom, and was there not to like about it? It was awesome.
We talked about that was that show at the Post, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was very sick actually.
You were. He tried.
I was very sick, dude, and I was like fucking not feeling.
He
good.
almost tried to pull us out of that. We were like, "You freaking don't even think about it, bro."
I got so fucking sick like 3 days before that show,
sick.
and I was like, guys. I don't know, man. But they were like, shut the fuck up. and I was like, yeah, I mean, I knew in my soul, I was like, I have to play the show.
Dude, listen to me.
And I played the show, and it was a great show. I And then I got off stage and was like, I needed an entire bottle of water and a nap, like, right
And an ambulance, probably. This is
yeah,
the funniest.
full-fledged ambulance.
Yes, this was the funniest thing
No,
I've ever seen in my life to date, and maybe it's incriminating.
The funniest thing you've ever seen?
Probably, and you're gonna recognize
In your
it.
life?
But kind of fuck Logan when I say this a little bit.
Yeah, fuck Logan, dude. Fuck that other half of the band, dude.
Yeah, the B team. Yeah, those guys. That's
I've
another
noticed
thing.
there's a lot of infighting here. Like.
We haven't talked shit about the other half of our band since we've been on.
ask us that, dude.
Let's get there in a moment. I want to say this first because
we're gonna get there.
we'll get there. I'm gonna try to keep this rolling. So there was a time, that time he was mentioning when he was sick before Chill Sounds. He texted the group chat. He goes, "Hey guys, I think I might have COVID." And Logan and I lived together, so we had our little. Oh God! And then the only text that gets sent back is from Logan, and it says, "No, you don't, and I don't want to hear it again." It's full sentence. Nope, doesn't exist. Not happening right now.
Like, you ain't allowed.
Chill Sounds was at the time one of the biggest show opportunities. It was the biggest show opportunity we had. I think it was the
it's
most
probably
exposure.
one of our better shows today.
It was a killer show,
sure.
and we just couldn't miss it. And Reagan toughed it out like the trooper he is. So we love you for that.
I played hard, dude. There was a little kid right at the front of that show.
He was walking out with
having...
little earphones.
No. There was like a kid in like a fucking, like one of those fucking like Trader Joe women's.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like the one that like the Gary Clark Jr. bitch like wearing hats. Like the fucking flat bill. Like they live in Austin. They shop at Trader Joe's. They're white, always. You know what I'm saying? Always. Yeah, they're like one of these
pictures in here.
There was like an 11-year-old kid there who was just having a time of their
He was
life.
rocking out.
They were having the time of their life just standing up there, and I was like, this is the most adorable thing I've ever seen.
Yes.
Even with that stupid fucking hat on. It was
Even
so
with that
cute. It
stupid-
was so cute.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They're good. I'm glad you guys had fun after not having fun.
Sorry.
You made it, but I mean,
toughed it out for that kid, dude.
Yes.
for that kid.
I was like, for that kid right there, I'll play the show with my whole heart.
Can we talk trash about our bandies now?
That's what you know.
I don't
what?
have anything to really say
we're
about
heading
that.
towards the end. That's what I want. I just want the next few minutes to just be that.
Yes.
Because I've been hearing there's been a lot of bullying towards Reagan over here.
Reagan?
Yeah.
It's me.
Not you.
For one.
From them.
It is him, dude. This guy's the biggest beta I've ever met in my whole life. I'm not
Who
kidding.
are we attacking here? I thought we were attacking the B team.
Like father, like son, dude.
This man.
I'm gone a little bit too far.
I want a tally mark
I'm
of
gonna
every
say
time you
sorry
brought up his
again.
dad.
Yeah. If you could just
Peasantry.
keep on screen a little tally.
There's gonna be a counter on the
apologize.
corner. Just how many
Colton's
day-
dad. I'll
Colton's
explain
dad
this all
mentions-
to you one day.
The day, Father,
As
the
far as
day
you're
you meet
concerned-
Reagan is going to be a day I
You know what
will
I'm saying?
remember for a long time. He
I think
knows
I think
about
I met
your
him before.
shenanigans.
I think I
he
met him
knows
before.
about the shenanigans.
Does he?
It's going to be an intimidating first meet, you two.
Oh, when I meet him, I'm gonna be like,
I think y'all have already
I'm gonna
met.
be like-
no, they've already
I'm
met.
gonna be like, yeah, you get it. Like, he
What's
knows,
he
dude.
going to be like?
He's gonna be honest.
Is he going to be chill with it? He's
No,
going
I
to be
can't
chill,
do
right?
Oh.
No, don't ask me.
My
that.
dad's going to be
Don't
chill.
ask me that again, dude.
Don't ask me.
You're not gonna like my answer.
Colton, do we have beef?
Yeah. So the other half of the band,
Go for it.
aside from my father, so I'd like to talk crap about Allison in particular right now.
Okay. Getting
Yeah,
called down.
so she always shows up to band practice stinking, you know? And
Like
she
what?
like
What
just
kind of stink?
straight freaking armpit cheese. And it's like when she got Allie, chill out. Hey, yo here. So she shows up to practice just straight pits out, dude, and just freaking just stink bombing everybody every practice. So like that's my beef with Allie.
Almost on purpose, but
It
what's
seems-
even more on purpose is Colton.
The look I'm getting right
Hold
now.
on. No, I'm gonna turn it against Colton because Colton's a real bitch, dude.
This happens all the time.
Yeah, you deserve it.
You deserve it.
All right, fucking Colton will bitch and bitch and bitch and bitch about the time of practice because he's got to go fucking. He never eats. He doesn't eat for fucking 24 hours or something. And then all of a sudden he's like, I'm fucking hungry. And he's got to go home so he can fucking smoke some weed and play COD, bro. That's like all that he cares about.
I don't play COD.
Shut the
on
fuck up.
On the,
Shut
week,
the
on the
fuck up,
weeknights.
dude.
I don't play
I
COD
don't
that
think
much
there's
on the
reason.
weeknights.
The podcast has gone off the rails.
Oh, for real?
I love it.
For real.
We have to
really
have-
say it? Look this camera right in the eye and say you don't play COD on the weekdays because
There's some
Ask
days
him,
I
dude.
do.
How
but
many times have you just been like, oh, I gotta go because I gotta fucking play COD?
Playing COD is a fun thing.
Late, mind you, is like 9:45 for this fucking asshole.
Well, I have to work, so
Shut
like,
the fuck up.
I do. I have an early morning job in Dallas, so it like fucking sucks. So like, but I do say that a lot. But generally, I don't even get to play it when I get home. I have to go to sleep. So they're just roasting me for no reason.
And Logan's just really sweaty.
Yeah, Logan's
That's really
sweaty.
my only beef.
Yeah.
Hey,
My only beef with Logan is he's just a fucking sweat machine, dude.
He's a chotch, really, like a CHACH, a chotch.
Full-fledged washing machine.
It's a full. It's a
Built
chotch.
like a fucking
that
refrigerator.
high
dude.
A chotch is like a couch, but like lamer
And sweaty. And sweaty. And sweaty.
and sweaty.
A sweaty couch sounds gross as fuck.
No, I love those guys. I don't love this guy.
I know.
But
Well,
his dad loves me.
Nobody loves this guy.
That's what's really important.
No, hey,
Sorry.
you wanna know something?
Yeah.
I love you, man.
Thanks, Osie. I love you.
You're okay.
Appreciate you. That's why we came on. 'Cause
You're-
we love
you're-
you.
a
I
good kid,
honestly
dude.
appreciate
You
you
know?
guys coming out. Like,
Thank
I
you,
think
man.
there was a nice balance here. It's like it started off like a little crazy. I got technical
We knew
difficulty,
that was
and then it
gonna
all
happen,
just
too.
fucking went crazy.
I just want to
Yeah.
say, they put in like the group chat, they're like, all right, so we'll do Allie and Logan and then Reagan and Colton for like balance. Right? And I was like, I don't know if you think it's a good idea to put us two.
It's probably
here.
not the best idea to put us.
Because we were
together.
gonna.
But you know,
I was definitely going straight for Colton's dad. We knew that.
knew that coming in.
We knew that,
No.
and we knew that we were gonna be real fucking.
my father is
We
a
knew
weird
that.
fetish of Reagan's. It's a weird thing.
Like all Reagans.
It's a fetish of
All
Reagan's.
Reagans, dude.
all
Yeah.
Reagans.
Ask him
he's
about
a-
it, dude.
he's-
Ask
I
him.
mean,
Ask Colton's dad
which-
next time you see him, dude. Ask
Next
him.
time.
He's obsessed with my dad.
Yeah, we're having Reagan's dad.
Ask him
Yeah, we're
about
having
it.
Colton's dad in next week.
That'll work.
Yeah, get him on the pod, dude.
Get a second side of the
Get me
story.
and him, dude. Give me and. Give
We
me
need the other
Colton's
side
dad
of
on
the
pod,
story.
dude.
Yeah.
Well, I won't even be here. It'll just be Reagan and Colton's dad.
Beefing it
Like
up.
usual.
Yeah, just like usual.
Lanta.
But yes,
Sorry.
thank you guys
Sorry.
for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for being patient with all the technical difficulties.
Hey, leave it in, dude.
I'm leaving it all in.
Leave, leave all that shit in.
I'm a lazy editor. Okay, I leave it all in. There's gonna be a
Yeah.
huge gap. I'm gonna just
Hell
put a
yeah.
picture of just me. There, so anytime I talk, it's still me going.
That'll
We're
work.
doing that.
That's great.
Hell
But yeah, thank you guys for coming on. I know you guys are gonna have like a lot of work this year. You're putting out some bunch of new music. Hopefully, I'm hoping to get some new music this year. Hopefully, the writing goes well. And shows, selective shows coming up.
We got February
Some
6th at Andy's coming up.
We're
Not
playing
many.
with Sun Not Yellow, so it's touring.
Hey, yes, Sun Not Yellow is what we're playing with them.
In February?
Yes, in February at Andy's, February 6th. Everybody tell Mike Zimmer to put us in Someone Music Festival.
Hit him up.
I'm just kidding. Actually, probably don't do that, but we
Any
really
final thoughts, Colton? Anything you need to share?
We are going to keep rocking and rolling because we love what we do, and we're just getting started. So, you know.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are most likely taking some time off. We're gonna do a lot of writing. We're gonna get a lot of shit done, and we're gonna hit you with a lot of fun shit in the summer.
Make
Kill
them
you.
songs weird.
I'm gonna kill you all in the summer.
Nice, nice. I don't have a camera, so you have to sign it off. Tell
We're gonna
them.
kill you all in the summer.
Thank you. I also
really.
thank them for listening.
Thank you guys for listening. You're all gonna die. I'm sorry.
You're all gonna die.
Every single last one of you.
We'll see you guys next time. Thank you.